how do you translate your architecture into a design language that is easily tangible, this digestible to the common public? Something that is not only understandable by the architecture community, because I think now that's also a problem in architecture wherein we create good architecture, but somehow people, I mean lay people, do not understand it, and just only us in the architecture community. So how do we translate it to something more into a lay term or something digestible by the public? Anyone who wants to share their thoughts first?
I think I wanna use like Aris's statement earlier as an example, right? So why do we need to build common ground or public space for people, right? How do because the reason why there is corruption and how we can stop it is not by ourselves. You stopping corruption does not really do much. You have to find the root cause of it. Now, I think one of the root causes of corruption, really, and you can see this in many countries around the world, is that it's quite prevalent in tribal communities and societies where we have stronger familial ties versus societal ties. And that's why we need to promote public space and common ground, because then you allow people to come together and have a sense of ownership of public space. And now the society becomes stronger. You exist as a society, as a community. And so you kind of like think twice before you steal from the community to, of course, better serve your own family. So there's always this kind of like balance, of course, inside our own hands. There's this calculus, of what we try to achieve, why we are doing things, what wealth is for, what is the purpose of, monetization. And so I think, one way to solve this is by strengthening our public space. And so, I mean, I was just using that as an example of like how you can kind of like translate ideas into physical realities. And so I think that's really what I'm kind of like more focused on and obsessed with in terms of like, if we have an idea and it's a nice idea, we should not be swallowed up by this kind of like social agenda, but rather we have to, as architects, figure out how we can achieve this with the spaces we are building.
Shall I? Okay,
Sure,
so
sir.
Yeah, let's just go shoot around.
I'm gonna point to another. I'm not gonna react to Will's, but I agree with Will's statement in terms of the communal, and that's something that is very crucial for us, especially here in the Philippines right now. Moving forward for cities and environments and communities. Um, there are certain things that are very essential. I think the ECQ, what the EQF, sorry, not ECQ, the EQFs did in terms of its essentiality. I can remember Vin Baravarns, our Thai friend back in Bangkok, who did houses for the slums, and they basically just didn't need to create something overly done, something simple yet very decent and quality to provide better human conditions, and that's very enough in terms of its essentiality. However, I don't want to downplay that people who are not educated, or let's say as cultured or as educated in the architecture industry or culture, I know people will always value beauty, will always value quality, and will always value something that is, even if you will not give them the concept of that space or that architecture, if they feel inside them intangibly that there's something that's nice there and it's meaningful, people will appreciate it. So that's where it is in terms of rating. Sorry, creating that we are creating something that is. Sorry, my dinner's here. creating creating less of ourselves. We cannot you know take things that people or society cannot appreciate something that is of intellect, that is intelligent. I know it is there. It is our human psyche to appreciate that. So that's what I want to say regarding that.
Okay.
Let me share something, no? In relation to what Buck presented about evolution, ano, and about what uh, Will said about participation of people, no. There was a project by Harvard University architecture graduates. I think a year ago sa Intramuros,
Euros.
sa yeah, sa Intramuros for housing, no, in nearby communities, particularly I think sa Baseco. So they designed their houses based on what they observe, no. So they have this um, really unique design where they followed the configuration of what they found there, kung paano yung itsura ng mga informal settlers, no, with the thought or thinking siguro na that they somehow captured what's there in the community still, no, when our graduates or students tried to participate, because sabi kasi namin Eskwela Talyer can participate because unang-una yung mga trainees or students ng Eskwela Talyer are from Baseco or from these communities, and they know construction. Maybe they can also participate in the design and the construction. And so while brainstorming or talking to them, um, meron pa silang nagkaroon pa rin ng tawag dito. Meron pa silang they have things to offer pa with respect to design. This thing will not work. I need this to be this way. This window needs to be this way. These stairs need to be this way. It doesn't have to be this wide. It can be this wide only, etc., etc. So, I mean, no matter how we design things, no, over time, short man or mahaba, people will have their way to somehow um, affect its evolution. So that's why we really need to be sensitive again to capture itong mga these sensitivities, no, because I think we are sa note ko dito, ano tayo I think we are just facilitators, no, of the design process. It's actually the people we work with yung nag-design if we are just to be sensitive sa mga on what they think, what they have to say.
I want to react to that, Boom, though. Like,
Mhm.
and I don't know if you know, but we were actually the one who helped them set
Yeah.
up that exhibit, right?
Yeah.
And I would honestly say it's a very bad exhibit.
Mhm.
And it was really almost for me, almost seemed like poverty porn in a lot of ways. And I
Mhm.
think that's the problem sometimes, when you try to kind of like airdrop someone from another setting to here and say, okay, this is the context. Because architecture should be aspirational at the end of the day, right? And it's not because you live in a shanty that you will always want to live in a shanty.
Mhm.
And so I think that was a very bad interpretation of the context.
Mhm.
And so I just wanted to put it out there.
Mhm.
Really
Yeah,
wanted to.
that's we noticed that too, no, when our graduates went there, ang dami nilang reactions. Oh, ba't ganito to? But ganyan to. Kumbaga parang it seemed to be na by the looks of it, based on the exhibit at least, no, it fits doon sa condition at least visually, pero well, I'm proud to say that our graduates can read plans somehow, no. They try to question yung mga yung design of those houses, and they offered solutions. Which is for me, nice experience when we brought them there.
I was actually about to ask people, which is a good thing. This is a critique, and it's a good thing. I mean, it doesn't. I was actually wanting to say, what do you think about that work? Because I wasn't there. I was farther. I mean, looking from the from the what do you mean, photographs and publications. But yeah, I really felt it was more of like an installation rather than really architectural discourse of what needs to be for the community there. So I'm quite disagreeing as well in terms of the approach of that one. But at the end of the day, that was experimentation to them. But I don't know what comes next after that.
I took a look at those drawings and plans, and I refused to attend the opening
Oh
because
yeah, you
like,
did.
Ah,
Yeah, you
really?
did it.
yeah, I never attended it. I never attended the exhibit.
Okay, it's a good thing. It's like, I mean, there
Okay.
are always things like that.